Shalom, and welcome to What the Watchman Sees, a ministry that will sift through all of the social media noise to show you news of importance from the Most High's perspective. As watchmen, we are here both to warn of dangers and give biblical answers for dwelling in the secret place of the Most High during these times of confusion. Tell your family and friends to like, share, and subscribe as we delve into what Yahweh has for us, the apple of His eye. Let's get to work. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're going to look at Micah chapter 6, and we're going to be looking at Micah chapter 6 through the eyes of the theme, which is tracking the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman. On this particular Shabbat, we're going to be looking at the seed of the woman. And what we're going to find is that the seed of the woman sometimes is nearly indistinguishable from the seed of the serpent. Now, there are many ways that we can approach that, but Micah has something to say to us. So I'm going to start reading in Micah chapter 6, starting at verse 1. The Most High says, "Arise, contend before the mountains, and let the hills hear your voice. Hear, O mountains, Yahuwah's controversy, and be strong, foundations of the earth. For Yahuwah has a controversy with his people, and he will plead with Israel," or he will plead with Yasharel. "O my people, what have I done to you? And wherein have I wearied you? Testify against me, for I brought you up out of the land of Egypt, and redeemed you out of the house of servants. And I sent before you Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. O my people, remember now what Balak, king of Moab, consulted, and what Balaam, the son of Beor, answered him from Shittim unto Gilgal, that you may know the righteousness of the Most High. Wherewith shall I come before the Most High and bow myself before the high God? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with calves of a year old? Will the Most High be pleased with thousands of rams, or with 10,000s of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? He has shown you, O man, what is good and what the Most High requires of you, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." So we're just going to talk a little bit about this few verses from Micah chapter 6, verses 1 through 9, I believe. No, 1 through 8. And as I said, sometimes the seed of the woman is nearly indistinguishable from the seed of the serpent. The biggest difference between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent is the mercy of the Most High, because neither of those seeds in and of themselves contain that which is needed for a right relationship with the Most High. Now, ultimately, the seed of the woman culminates in our Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach. And certainly, Yeshua is what makes the seed of the woman the seed of the woman. But before Yeshua got here in the flesh, the seed of the woman, talking about Seth, talking about Abraham, talking about Isaac, Jacob, the 12 sons of Jacob, known as Yasharel. When we look at their history, when we look at the things that they did, the focus that they had, and I'm talking about our ancestors. So I'm not talking about a foreign nation. I'm talking about the people of the Most High. What we see is what the Most High has against Israel in Micah chapter 6. We're at a point in our recent history where there is an awakening happening. And part of that awakening is the Most High's people realizing that we have been out of covenant with our Creator and we need to come back into covenant. And not only that, part of that awakening is we had a covenant and we broke it. And so in this day and time, many are trying to fix that. But just as it was the case at the Tower of Babel or the Tower of Babel, it was the Most High that confused our languages so that even the Most High's people who are called by his name are scattered and we don't communicate well with one another. So when we see during this awakening people wanting to get back to the fundamentals, so and we're saying get back to the Tanakh, get back to Torah. Much of the Tanakh and much of the Torah had to do with how Yasharel was to maintain itself so that the nation could not only be a nation, but it could be a nation that was accurately reflecting the blessing, the mercy, the grace of the Most High. What the nation in Micah was doing was trying to go back, as you've heard me saying on several occasions, the Sankofa principle, go back and fetch it. So the nation was trying to do that by reinstituting the Levitical laws, making sure that they were, tithing, making sure that they were doing the right kind of sacrificing, that the priests were supposed to be, who were supposed to be, have cleansed themselves of their own sins before they offer for the sins of the nation. All those things that the people were trying to do. That's why we read Micah chapter 6, because what the Most High is saying, I have a controversy with you. I'm not looking for you to clean up your act when it comes to how you do sacrifice. I want you, and this is what he says in verse 8, to focus on that which is good and what I require of you. And what is it that he requires of us, his people? It's to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly before our Creator. Now, certainly there are lots of other instructions that are found not only in the Tanakh, but the New Testament as well. But to encapsulate everything, if you remember from Ecclesiastes, the last chapter, the last verse of Ecclesiastes, it says, let's hear the end of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, because this is the whole duty of man. Not just Yasharel, it's the whole duty of man. Yasharel is supposed to lead in that endeavor to fear the Most High and to follow his commandments. Well, what is his first commandment? His first commandment is to love the Most High with all our heart, soul, and might. And then later on, we're told to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And so when Yeshua said to the people who should know these things, On these two commands, all the law and all the prophets hang. In other words, everything I've said to you, all the instructions that I've given to you, are encapsulated in those two things, which is the same thing, which is another way of saying, do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly before the Most High. That's our job. So all of the time that we're spending going in on other human beings, if we belong to the Most High, that's wasted energy. The words that the Most High speaks first have to be digested by the person hearing and reading the words. Now, part of our job is to articulate what those words of the Most High are. But we do that as we walk justly, and we do that loving mercy, the same mercy that He gave to us. We are to love enough to give to other people, some of whom look like us and some of whom don't look like us. We're still to have mercy. And that's how we walk humbly before the Most High. That's the blessing of Micah chapter 6, verses 1 through 8. Now, we talked about Philippians chapter 4. I want to turn to that and then we'll stop. Philippians chapter 4. And I'm going to start reading in verse 8 of Philippians chapter 4. As we close this short meditation on the Shabbat, Philippians 4:8 says, finally, brothers, or finally, family, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, anything praiseworthy, think on these things. Those things which you have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, do. And the God of peace shall be with you. So when the Apostle Paul wrote these things, when he says those things which you have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, that is referring back to how the Apostle Paul thought. He thought on things that were just, pure, honest, lovely, of good report, anything that's virtuous, anything that's praiseworthy. The seed of the woman focuses on these things. The seed of the serpent focuses on pointing out people who aren't doing these things. And I'm going to repeat that again. The seed of the woman focuses on whatever is good, just, honest, lovely, etc., or walking humbly before our most before the Most High, or showing mercy. That's what the seed of the woman does. The seed of the serpent criticize people who aren't doing those things. That's the difference. The seed of the serpent is an accuser. And as we all know, none of us can say 100% of the time we do these things. That's why we're being encouraged in Philippians and in Micah to direct our energies, direct what we think or how we think, what we say, what comes out of our mouths, and our actions toward fulfilling these blessings or these signs of blessings that the Most High has laid before us. Because when we do those things, we become who we're supposed to be. And that is how light shines in a dark world. And as I said the last time we met, everybody knows how to be dark. Everybody knows how to act as the seed of the serpent. The difference between the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman is that the seed of the woman acknowledges I have issues, but I know where I'm supposed to be. So, Father, help me get there. And in that walk, that's a humble walk, because when we're walking that way, we don't have time to be criticizing other people. So that's the blessing that the Most High has for us as his children on this Shabbat. Micah chapter 6, verses 1 through 8, Philippians chapter 4, verses 8 and 9. Father, bless you and keep you. Father, make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. Father, lift up his countenance upon you and give you his shalom.